Hello everyone, this is Mansi from Java Techies. So today I have got a few multi-threading related questions for you which are frequently asked in an interview. So we'll go through few of the questions today one by one and I'll explain you the solutions along with the questions. So let's just start. The very first question is, what is a thread in Java? Thread is nothing but a lightweight process that actually runs within another process or program in Java. So it is actually independent. Threads are independent of each other. So one more commonly asked question is, what is a process? What is the difference between a process and thread in Java? So a process is nothing but it is executing separate tasks simultaneously, where each task is a separate independent process or program. So process is actually OS level, whereas if you talk about thread, so thread is actually executing tasks simultaneously, where each task is a separate independent part of the same process. So you can say on a higher level there is a process, like for example you are typing something into the notepad and into another VLC media player you are listening to some songs. So these are separate process, whereas within a particular process, if there are certain tasks that are performed simultaneously which are independent of each other as part of the same process, that is called a particular thread. So thread is again, as I mentioned, it is a part of, it can be part of same process which which execute simultaneously, but they are independent of each other. Another difference between process and thread is that process has a separate address space, whereas thread share the same address space that are part of the same process. So there can be multiple process and there can be multiple threads that can be part of different processes. So if the process is same, the address space of all the threads will be shared amongst them. Another thing is that context switching is very expensive in case of process, whereas it is not that much expensive as far as threads are considered. Also, processes like heavyweight and threads, as I mentioned, are lightweight processes. So this is what mainly thread and processes. These all are part of multitasking. So, okay, let's move on to the next question. What is the priority of a thread and how is it used in scheduling? So, threads have 1 to 10 priority. 5 is called the normal priority, whereas 1 is the lowest priority and 10 is the highest priority. The thread with the highest priority is supposed to be executed first. As you know that we have also main thread. Main thread has 5 as default priority. If there is suppose a thread and there is a child thread that is created from that particular thread, so the child thread will actually inherit the property of the parent thread, although you can also set the priority using the set priority method that is available on the scale of 1 to 10. So that is what I just explained you. Now, okay, as I mentioned, like Java scheduler actually schedules the threads to be executed based on priority that range from 1 to 10. 10 is the highest priority, 1 is the lowest priority. The next one is, what is the default priority of a thread in Java? So as I mentioned, the default priority of a thread is 5, which is normal priority. It also has main thread also has 5 as the priority, and all the child threads that have been created will have the same priority as that of the parent thread. Okay, the next one is, what are the 3 different priorities? Okay, I think explained it. Main priority, norm priority, max priority. Minimum is the main priority, normal is norm, and maximum is maximum. Min is 1, norm is 5, and max is 10. Okay, so the next question is, what is the purpose of join method in a thread class? So join method actually controls the execution of a particular thread. So suppose you have created a thread and you have done a thread.join. So what will happen is the current executing thread will actually stop its execution, and the thread on which you have actually called the join method will start executing. And once it is done, then the thread that was current thread will actually resume the execution. This is what the join method does. So as soon as like you call the join method, the current thread stops executing and waits for the thread on which the join has been called to finish. Once that is done, the current thread starts executing again and resumes again. We'll see it through an example. So here we have a thread join class where we have created two threads. That is, one is the current thread and one is important thread. So here in line 1 you can see it's important thread we have started, then we have called the join method on important thread, and then we have started the current thread. Now what will happen is, before line 1 your main thread is running, and in line 1 you have started the important thread. So as of now two threads are running, one is main thread and another is important thread. Now as soon as line 2 is executed, what happens is main thread stops the execution because you have called join method on important thread. So main method will stop the execution as main method is the current thread. Once important thread is complete, it has done its execution, then the main thread will actually resume the execution and line 3 will be executed. That is, current thread will be started. Till then, until unless the important thread completes its execution, main will be paused. I hope you get the concept. So main method is the current thread that has been running, and then again you see important thread is started, and once important thread dot join is called, the main method stops the execution right there. It pauses for the important thread to complete. Once it is done, then the main method resumes the execution and then line 3 is executed. Okay. The next thing is, what is the fundamental difference between wait and sleep method? So both these methods are actually used for pausing the execution of a particular thread, but the main difference between the two is wait is actually object level. You will find it into the object class, whereas sleep is a static method that is there in the thread class. Another thing is, as if you call wait on a particular thread, the major difference is wait. In case of wait, it actually releases the resources, or whatever thread has a lock on different sort of resources, it will release the resources as soon as you call the wait method, whereas in sleep method it will keep on acquiring the resources. It is not going to release the resources. And another thing is that waiting thread can be woken up by the notify method, like we use into the synchronized block, the wait and notify. So as soon as you call the notify method, the waiting threads can be woken up, or they can start their execution, or they get a notification, okay, you can now start. Whereas a sleeping thread cannot be woken up until unless you provide the time until which the thread will sleep. So only after that time is elapsed, then only the thread will start again. Whereas like we call the wait method on the current thread, that releases the resources, I already told you, and goes to the waiting state. Whereas in case of sleep, it doesn't release the resources at all. It keeps on acquiring those resources. Now the next one is it possible to call run method instead of start method on a thread? Yes, you can definitely call the run method directly. If you don't call the start method, it will not work as a thread. It will work as a normal object. So it will not actually, if you do not call the start method, it will not create a separate stack trace and separate thread for the execution. It will just behave as a normal object like that. Okay. The next question is, what are the advantages of multi-threading? So definitely one of the major advantage of multi-threading is improved performance. It actually enhances the performance. So suppose you have a particular process, like for example, you have a requirement that you want to read some sort of keywords from your entire C, D, E, or whatever drives you have. There are multiple folders into each of your drive. There are multiple, you can say, files, and amongst those files you just have to read some sort of keyword along with their value. You have to get the value of that particular keyword. So what will happen if you do it one using just the main thread? What it will do, it will go to C drive. It will scan all the folders, subfolders, then files and everything, and then try to find out. Then it will go to the D drive and do the same process. It is going to take a lot of time to do this, right? So there we have threads, because all these files are independent of each other. It's not dependent that you have to first search on this file then this file. So it's an independent sort of thing. So we can use different sort of threads to read all these files. Multiple threads at the same time can do this reading, and then as soon as it finds out, it can tell you the value. So this is what we can use to improve the performance of such scenarios. There can be multiple numerous scenarios where you can have a particular requirement where the tasks are independent of each other, and to improve the performance and do it in less amount of time, you can simply use the multi-threading concept, which is very vital in these scenarios. Another thing is simultaneous access to multiple applications. So you can actually access multiple applications from a process by multi-threading. So this is also like a very vital or very important thing that comes with multi-threading when you design or write certain applications. Another thing is reduce number of servers required. So with multi-threading, there are lesser number of servers, since each process can actually create multiple threads. So every web server that you are using actually creates a lot of threads for each particular request to send response. Like for example, you have a Tomcat server, you have a WebLogic. So internally they create a lot of threads for each of the requests, for multiple simultaneous requests that are coming to them from the user. So this is another advantage. And definitely, yeah, it also simplifies the coding, and it is easier to create multiple threads and manage them with the current like executor framework and things like those. So it's pretty easy to do all these things. Okay, the next one is, what are the disadvantages of multi-threading? Yeah, it's definitely difficult to debug if suppose there is some issue in one of the thread, and because of that you're not getting the desired results. So it's very difficult to find out which particular thread had the problem. Another thing is like if you have like a lot of threads running into your application, and you have to manage them properly, you have to close them properly, otherwise there could be a lot of performance issues, like CPU utilization and memory utilization can be very high for your application, which can lead to crash. Okay, the next is, okay, difficult to manage concurrency. So in cases like if you talk about certain applications where you are using multiple threads to update some data or something like that, in those cases there can be inconsistency issues. So for that we have to do a lot of concepts and make a proper design so that we do not hit those inconsistency issues. Okay, and the next is difficulty of porting code. Yeah, definitely it is difficult to, if you have a single threaded application and you want to migrate it to multiple threads, then it is difficult because you have to consider all the scenarios, all the inconsistency issues that can come in, all the debugging issues that will be there, and you have to properly close all the threads as soon as their task is done. Otherwise, it might have a lot of high CPU and memory utilization, and that might lead to your application being crashed. Another thing is deadlock. Yeah, if you're doing a multi-threading code, you have to do it properly, otherwise it might end up into a deadlock situation. Okay, we already talked about thread priority, this one also. Okay, how will you make a user thread into daemon threads if it is? So first of all, I would like to explain what is a daemon thread. Daemon thread are nothing but background threads which are supposed to help or support your user threads that you are actually creating for some sort of feature or requirement of yours that you want to implement. So daemon threads are nothing but background threads, and you cannot make a thread daemon after it is started. If you want to make a thread daemon, it has to be done before the thread is started. You can use the set daemon method. Inside that, you can provide true as a parameter. The set daemon method actually takes a boolean parameter. True means it is set to daemon. False means it is not a daemon thread. It will be considered as a user thread. So like this, you can create a thread as a daemon thread. If you try calling this method after you have started a thread, it will give you illegal state exception. So you have to set the thread as daemon before you start that particular thread. Make sure you do it. Another thing is, as soon as all your user threads are terminated, JVM will automatically terminate the daemon threads, because if there are no user threads, there is no requirement of supportive threads, right? So let's move on to the next one. Can we start a thread 2 times in Java? No, we cannot start a thread twice. The reason is it will give you an exception, which will be illegal state exception if you try to start the same thread twice. In what scenario can we interrupt a thread? So we can interrupt a thread whenever we want to whenever that particular thread is paused due to some reason, like if it is in sleep state or waiting state, we can interrupt that particular thread. So that's it from today. Like I had these many questions. We'll create another video with another set of questions. So these were the basic set of questions, and then we will move on to advanced multi-threading as well. Thanks guys. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye bye.